we're going to do some seed planting. So you need to find a pot and some seed raising mixture or some fairly good potting mix. This is one that we use regularly at Landcare. It doesn't have fertiliser in it, so once your seeds come up, they need to go into the garden or into another pot that has fertiliser. So we're just filling the pot up and then give it a bit of a tap. I like to tamp it down a little bit with a piece of wood just to make a flat surface to sow your seed onto. Now, the bigger your seed, the more depth that you're going to need to sow your seed into. So if I was doing a small seed, I would fill it up closer to the top of the pot. It's a good idea to have your seed at the same depth. That way you're going to be guaranteed that they're going to come up at the same rate, and that's a good reason to use something flat like this to squash the top of the soil down. So a big seed like these ones, you can see that the top of the seed is very close to the top of the pot in height, so we need to squash it down a little bit, and then you can just top it up with potting mix. Put a label in so you know what it is and you know when you put it in, so if it doesn't come up after a couple of weeks, you know that hasn't worked, so you can try a new lot. Same thing again, we're doing tomatoes this time. So the tomato seed is smaller, that means we're going to put a little bit more potting mix or seed raising mix in. Tomato. These are sport seeds, these ones. So they've already been dried, but you can also sow fresh seed straight from the tomato. So we only want a few because you can pretty well guarantee that you'll get a good percentage of these will be suitable, and tomatoes get very large, so we don't want 20 or 50 seeds, we only need about 5 to 10 to come up. So a few is plenty. I'll just, for the sake of showing, I'll just put a few of the fresh seeds in as well on this side. And then again covering it over with a very small amount of mix. Putting a label in. One more. Now, parsley is a seed that takes a very long time to come up. It takes about 3 weeks. Parsley and carrot are in the same family, and it is useful to grow parsley in pots for this reason. It's easier to keep a pot damp than it is if it was in the garden. However, if you were planting carrots, you wouldn't put them in a pot first, because root vegetables need to go straight into the position they're going to grow in. So we put them straight into the garden. But it is tricky keeping them damp for long enough until they come up. So we've got parsley next. Just gently tap the packet so they come out. A few come out and not the whole lot. So they're quite small. We only need a very small amount of mix to go on top of those because of the size of the seed. Take the big bits off. Parsley, and now we're going to water those. Now when we're tipping a watering can, you'll notice when you first start tipping, this bit of dribble comes down. If you put that into the pot, you'll see that it makes a big hole, and the splashing can make the seeds scatter everywhere. So it's better to start your pouring here and then go onto the pot. So all we need to do now is find a nice shady spot to put the pots until the seedlings come up. And don't forget to water them every couple of days or every day if it's hot.